Hello again, and English Civil War again here with Sir William Lambton's Regiment of Foote. This was a Royalist regiment. I don't know much about the regiment itself. With the army, I'm just picking random Royalist regiments and making my own order of battle out of it. So I'm not doing a particular campaign or any period during the war. I'm just picking a regiment I like the look of and just painting it for the army. So it's a real mixed match. Yeah, so these are white coats, or slightly off-white, so they might have been part of the Newcastle army. I'm not 100% sure, but these were quite nice to paint. These were the first infantry that weren't shooting, they're marching poses, so the pikemen have their pikes on their shoulders. That's probably why they look so tall, and to be fair, the pikes are just on the extreme edge of what would have been the real length. They're 4 times longer than the man, which they would have cut them down to be a bit shorter than this, but I'll be totally honest, I couldn't be bothered to cut them down to the perfect size or spend time just doing that. So pikes are, I suppose they are on the longer length, but they are accurate. But going forward, I think I will cut some down actually. They look a lot longer than they actually would have been here because they're shouldered and they don't touch the ground, but it is what it is. I was only just starting doing all this army when someone pointed it out there on the long length, so they are right. And like I say, because they're shouldered, these look even longer than they actually are. But this is a lovely regiment to do. This was the second regiment I did. Again, the regiments are picked at random, and I think I went for this because doing English Civil War, it's hard to find coat colours for any regiment. It's really hard, and this was one that I found, and there's evidence of the actual colour and the flags, so I went with that. I've also done other regiments that I know or have a pretty good certainty we know what the coat colour was, as just like Napoleonics, the English Civil War is a minefield for uniforms, or what passes as uniforms anyway. So look at the musketeers. Now again, all steel fist miniatures, all 15mm. These were the second regiment I painted, so I'm still getting to grips with them. But lovely to paint. And like the cavalry, most of them are unique. There's 2 poses per infantryman, so 2 musketeers will be the same, 2 pikemen will be the same. But I've made sure to try and mix it up, so if there is the same, they're in different wings, the 2 wings. But you'd never know, unless you're properly looking, you'd never know there's 2 of each. And again, it adds to the character, makes it more unique. I was still learning how to paint certain parts of the models for these, so... But, yeah, the officer poses are fantastic for these as well. Again, the officers come separate. And here's the pikemen. Now, the pikes are shoulders, so yeah, they look like they never end, to be honest, but they are... Technically, they are the correct length for the very start of the war before they would have cut them down. So they are right and they're wrong, because I'm pretty sure they would have cut them down pretty quick, but it is what it is. For the pikemen, I bought armoured and unarmoured and decided to mix the 2, so I think it works best. I think if you have a whole unit of armoured, they look too kitted out, too perfect, especially for the Royalists who struggled with supplies throughout the war. Being William Lambton's regiment, his symbol on his flag, surprisingly enough, is a lamb. So, and of course, being the Lambs, which is what their nickname, they had to be in white coats, didn't they? Yeah, I really enjoyed doing the. I'm enjoying doing all steel fists, to be honest. Again, a lovely regiment, lovely figures, and each time you paint one, you want to paint the next one, and then the next, and the next. So they're not a figure you get bored with. Yeah, I was going to do the next cavalry regiment, but I thought I'll start with the infantry just to mix it up a bit. There's another regiment on the way that I'm nearly finished, and then the first regiment I ever did. I'll show that off soon. So yeah, and then I'll do some group photos of all the army, which at the minute when it's all together looks quite good. So I yeah, love the infantry. I decided I do 3 bases. A lot of people have asked about bases and if I use a game system. I don't. These are just for show. When I came to base these, I had all kinds of headaches about how I wanted to do this. How many pikemen, how many musketeers, how many in each wing, etc. But I just decided on 12 pikemen, 3 command, and the 2 wings. I was going to put a musician with the pike block, but I thought I'll put the musician with one of the musketeer wings. So sometimes the drummer will be in front or behind, and then another officer with the other wing. So, and it just looked very nice set up that way. Looked very appealing. So I quite like how it's turned out, really. Plus, should I need to just have a pipe block, it's there and done. But en masse, the figures look fantastic. The only issue I have, which is my own fault, is basing can be a nightmare when they're all glued like this. But I've had no real problem so far, it's just a bit fiddly. So that's the first of the infantry. I think I might do the cavalry next and then do infantry again, then you'll see how far I've got so far in the army. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, take care.